February of this year, a local couple got some news about their 8-year-old daughter, Mia, that changed all of their lives forever. She was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. They didn't allow this to get them down for long, though. Here to tell us about their journey and how they've been able to find support is Mia herself and her father, Tony. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Great, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Now you're 8 years old, your daughter's 8 years old and has type 1 diabetes. How did you find out this information?
Well, one of the signs is you'll start to drink a lot of water and have frequent urination, and Mia started to get up in the middle of the night a couple times to go to the restroom. And then when she'd wake up in the morning, she would drink a lot of water. And so we knew something was wrong. We weren't sure what it was, if it was diabetes, or we actually thought it might have been a bladder infection. And so we took her to her pediatrician, and they did a urine test and determined that she had some high blood sugars and sent us down to the hospital to take care of it.
Now, I know there's a difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Were you a bit concerned about either of the two, or did you think it might have been diet related, or how did you feel when you guys found out?
At that time, we really didn't know. I mean, we didn't know the difference between type 1 and type 2. We had heard it before, but you know, the first initial reaction is, you know, shock. And then as parents, you think you might have done something wrong, but you come to learn with type 1 that you really didn't do anything wrong. Right. It's some type of genetic and some virus stuff. They're still not sure on that caused the issue. And so, you know, it's something that we've learned to live with, and she's still very active and does everything she did before.
Right. Mia, I was just talking to you. You play a lot of sports. What do you play?
Volleyball, soccer, basketball, and softball.
And you do all of that with type 1 diabetes. That's really great. Now, how did you feel when you were feeling all those symptoms, when you were thirsty and things like that? Did you know that there was something wrong?
Not really.
No. And then when you found out, how did your classmates react? Were they supportive, or were they interested in what it was?
A little shocked,
I think. Shocked
so
at the school.
Her school has been great. JDRF was one of the first things that we got involved with at the hospital. They brought a thing called the Bag of Hope to us that helped us understand what it was and what to expect.
Right.
And then at her school, we had her doctor, her pediatrician, as well as a school nurse. We did a presentation to her grade level at that time, kind of explaining to the kids, you know, what is it, what Mia has to do from a blood sugar perspective, etc. So they understand that.
Now, how has your routine changed since all of this happened?
You know, it's changed a little bit because we have to, you know, check her sugars as well as give insulin with any types of food or stuff. But overall, she's doing the exact same thing. She eats the same stuff. You know, we just maybe make smarter choices. And she's still very active in sports and school and extracurricular activities. And so overall, it's changed our life as a family because we worry about her and make sure she's within her ideal blood sugar range. Right. But overall, she's still an active kid, and it's something that we've come to learn with diabetes. You can still lead the same normal life that you did before.
Now, you and your wife I'm sure the news was devastating at first, and a lot of people would probably be very devastated. How were you guys, and how were you able to turn this into, you know, something positive to help other people?
I think the one thing that my wife and I really focused on is being involved in the child's, you know, day-to-day, you know, because she's still fairly young, it's 8. But, you know, JDRF really helped us early on, as well as the doctors, the nurses, the faculty at her school, to really make us feel welcome, make sure that we felt like she was always going to be looked after. Right. And just a lot of awareness, learning on what it meant, what you deal with on a day-to-day basis, and how you know, it's going to change her life and change our family's life. You know, there have been definitely changes, but it's been for the good. I mean, we really.
And I know that we were talking there. You were the only student, but now there's a 5th grader at your school that has been diagnosed as well. As a parent, what would you tell other parents whose child has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes?
So it's shocking at first. The doctors will tell you a lot of things, but I would reach out to the support mechanisms that you have, like JDRF and your school counselors and things like that, because it does happen. There's a lot of kids that have type 1 diabetes. So it is a little stressful, but just remember, your kid can always live the same life that they've lived before, be as active in sports or extracurricular activities, or play with their friends, or do all of that. Eat the same stuff, but most importantly, what we learned as a family is we didn't cause it. we didn't feed her something incorrectly, and that over time that really made us feel better.
I bet that's a burden lifted too.
Yep.
You guys, when we come back from the break, we'll hear from 2 members of Mia's support system, so don't go anywhere.